Welcome to today's Explainer. We are unpacking the rapid-fire developments of July 27th, 2026. Look, if you've been feeling the friction this week, you are definitely not alone. Today, we're revealing the very real growing pains of a maturing AI industry, and we're taking you straight to the sources to understand exactly what is happening under the hood of the tech you're using every single day. To make sense of today's incredibly dense news cycle, here is our roadmap. First up, outages and privacy leaks. Then, workspace AI market battles. After that, we'll dive into the global open weight war, the trillion-dollar compute crunch, how AI is taking over Hollywood, and finally, a quick national weather outlook. Section 1. Outages and privacy leaks. The user experience. Let's get right into the immediate friction users felt over the last few days. This timeline perfectly illustrates a frankly chaotic weekend and Monday morning. We saw major disruptions hitting both ChatGPT and Claude users right when they needed them the most. ChatGPT, Codex, and the OpenAI API suffered an extended weekend outage. Now, OpenAI tried to apologize by resetting usage limits, but that kind of backfired entirely for subscribers who had already burned their banked resets right before the crash. And if Monday morning wasn't hard enough, Down Detective flagged a Claude outage at 4:18 a.m. Eastern, followed by ChatGPT going down yet again at 9:44 a.m. And, compounding those outages was a pretty significant data exposure. Anthropic actually confirmed that private-looking Claude chat logs surfaced directly in Google search results over the weekend. For users who had enabled the share feature, highly sensitive data, we're talking cryptocurrency wallet keys and personal home addresses, leaked directly into public search indexing. We're also seeing some abrupt tool shifts happening across the board. So OpenAI is retiring their Atlas browser agent on August 9th, folding those capabilities straight into ChatGPT and Codex, so if you use Atlas, definitely consider this your hard deadline to export your history. Meanwhile, over at Google, Gemini 3.5 Pro missed its July 17th target and might be delayed to August. Leaks suggest they actually scrapped the original architecture and restarted pre-training completely from scratch. On a slightly lighter note, Anthropic did launch their economic index connector, which lets you query AI labor market data directly inside Claude. Section 2. Workspace AI Market Battles. The Corporate Ground Game. Okay, moving up from individual user friction, let's take a look at the intense corporate battleground where companies are fighting for control over your daily workflow. We are absolutely watching an aggressive pricing war unfold right now. Microsoft Copilot is charging a hefty $30 monthly fee. But in stark contrast, SpaceX AI is using a highly disruptive strategy. Grok is now available completely free as an add-in for Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, letting users draft documents and run data queries at zero incremental cost. This is all happening while xAI reportedly tracks Claude as their internal benchmark, despite taking operating losses of nearly $2.5 billion in Q1 alone. Now, the crucial metric to really understand here is less than 5%. Out of 450 million Microsoft 365 seats, fewer than 4.5% have actually converted to paid AI. This is a massive signal for the industry. It suggests that horizontal AI assistance is becoming a bundled expectation for users, not some premium upsell that corporations can easily charge extra for. And hey, this battlefield isn't just happening in your office software. Over in Europe, the European Commission has issued binding DMA orders, forcing Google to open up its Android AI layer. By July 2027, Google must grant rival AI assistants, like Claude and ChatGPT, the exact same system-level integration that Gemini currently enjoys. We are talking equal access to wake words, the home button, and even screen context. Section 3. The Global Open Weight War. Geopolitics and Sanctions. Now we're going to zoom out even further to the global stage, where the model weights and the hardware powering them are triggering some serious geopolitical tension. So, Moonshot AI just dropped Kimi K3, and wow, the specs are literally massive. It is the largest open-weight model ever released, boasting 2.8 trillion parameters, a 1 million token context window, and native vision capabilities. But here's the catch. To even self-host this quote-unquote free model, you need at least 8 80GB H100 GPUs. Furthermore, independent testing flagged a rather high hallucination rate of 51%, meaning it might just be making up half of what it tells you. Well, this massive release certainly hasn't gone unnoticed by the U.S. government. White House OSTP Director Kratsiosios has accused Moonshot AI of using restricted NVIDIA hardware, allegedly acquired through channels in Thailand to distill their technology against Anthropic's Claude Fable 5. And this has actually prompted Treasury Secretary Bassett to warn of potential sanctions and entity list designations. This geopolitical friction really highlights a deep divide currently splitting Silicon Valley right down the middle. A public letter backed by massive hardware and cloud giants like NVIDIA, Microsoft, AMD, and Vercel is strongly urging against a ban on Chinese open-weight models. Meanwhile, Anthropic is reportedly becoming increasingly isolated in their stance supporting tighter open-weight restrictions. Adding a whole new layer of complexity to this, China's Ministry of Commerce is simultaneously consulting firms like Alibaba and ByteDance about potentially restricting foreign access to Chinese AI models, though industry pushback there is pretty strong. Section 4. Trillion-dollar compute crunch. Infrastructure demands. All of these massive models, and the geopolitical fights over them, they require a staggering physical foundation, bringing us to the sheer scale of global AI infrastructure. Just take a look at this number, $250 billion. NVIDIA is currently in talks to guarantee that jaw-dropping amount in financing for OpenAI to lease a 10-gigawatt campus in Ohio. And get this, it's being built on a former uranium enrichment site of all places. If that isn't staggering enough, the full scope of this campus could eventually exceed $500 billion. Even with hundreds of billions being poured into infrastructure, the compute crunch is very real today. This insatiable demand is causing structural friction over at Microsoft, as they are being forced to literally ration their compute power. They're caught in a massive tug-of-war, having to balance the needs of their internal Copilot and OpenAI workloads against the demands of external Azure Enterprise Cloud customers who rely on those exact same chips. Section 5. AI takes over Hollywood. Real-world applications. So, what is all this trillion-dollar compute and corporate battling actually generating for you, the end consumer? Let's take a look at a clear success story in the entertainment industry. Generative AI is no longer just some futuristic concept. It is a standard production tool right now, and it is fueling massive financial growth. Netflix just reported their Q2 2026 revenue grew by 13% year over year, reaching a massive $12.6 billion. In fact, Netflix disclosed they utilized generative AI in roughly 300 films and TV shows this year alone, applying it across concept development, pre-visualization, and post-production. This capability is heavily driven by their $587 million acquisition of Ben Affleck's AI filmmaking company back in March. Co-CEO Ted Sarandos noted that these tools are directly enabling highly complex sequences that deliver better quality at a much lower cost, sequences that otherwise would have just been cut from budgets entirely. Section 6. National Weather Outlook. Let's step away from the tech world for just a quick moment to see what's actually happening outside your window this week. The Weather Prediction Center is currently tracking a dangerous, long-duration heat wave that's gripping the southern U.S. Up north, there is a moderate risk of excessive rainfall and flash flooding for New Jersey, New York, and Connecticut through Tuesday. Meanwhile, robust monsoonal moisture is driving near-daily thunderstorms across the Four Corners and the Rockies, while drier-than-normal conditions unfortunately continue to extend droughts across the southern plains. So when we connect all the dots we've discussed today, from your frustrating weekend ChatGPT outage to the data leaks, all the way up to $500 billion infrastructure deals and AI creating your favorite Netflix shows, it leaves us with one absolutely critical thought to take away from this explainer. As this technology aggressively reshapes everything from our daily workflows to global geopolitical tensions, are we truly prepared for the sheer speed of this evolution? Think on that. And thanks so much for joining me today.